documenting your bodies. Excuse me. These governing bodies need to be documented somewhere as a mark of compliance, and it is something that you can come back to each time you need it. And believe me, I have written so many project proposals during the due diligence, which is the step where the potential funding organization needs to audit / assess your project. They ask to have a look at your governance organigram and also governing bodies framework. So it not only putting it together, it's also documenting it and making it public. If you go to Jadara Foundation's website, you will see a governance category within the website. When you click on it, you can see all of our governance bodies. It's clear. Okay, it's very, very important. Okay, organizational policies and operational procedures. It's a document that brings clear definition of the roles and responsibilities of each one of the stakeholders as the governing bodies that we just described, a description of decision-making processes and internal control mechanisms, and the standards and norms that are applicable to all of the NGOs' daily activities, references to the other internal procedures to ensure consistency and compliance in practices. So this document, this standard or this norm documents all of these legal frameworks all together, and it compacts it so that it is consultable, it is something that you can come back to, and it's one of the requirements of the international funding organizations. Policy update process. Okay, I don't want to overwhelm you guys with so many documents, but you can pick those who are the most accurate and the most, or you can go gradually. You don't have to comply with all the legal and standards and norms, let's say, requirements for the NGOs. You don't have to be 100% today, but you can choose to move from 17% to 24 this year, then from 24 to 45 next year, and so on. It just has to be a consistent improvement plan process. And after the summit, Jadara Foundation and the Pan-African Youth Union, we are thinking of developing a process to help support the NGOs who have the will to upgrade their processes and policies, internal policies. So this is something, if you have a need, if you do confirm that it's one of your needs, I can see the reactions. But whenever you have the ability to answer either evaluation form or so, please make sure to mention that this is one of your needs, and we please note, even if we don't answer you right away, we are documenting everything and analyzing everything. So the policy update process is a process that makes sure that all the nonprofit organization members from all the governing bodies members are keeping track on updating their policies. Okay, it's a process that is documented, that makes sure that every year at a certain time, let's say for Jadara, we do it every August, every month of August, because it's the end of our fiscal year. For Jadara, it's our choice. We make sure to go review all of our norms and make sure that we are still respecting, because when you have so many norms and legal frameworks to abide by, you sometimes get lost. So you have to plan moments to rethink and review. Make sure that you have an overview on all of the compliances you have to respect. So This document is essential to regularly update your policies. One, the procedure for reviewing existing policies with clear steps, right? Identification of the stakeholders responsible for the updates. You need to note in this document who is responsible to update this process. Three, review, schedule, and update criteria to determine when and how to modify the documents. You can decide to modify the bylaws every 5 years. It is your choice. However, if you note that you have to review your bylaws every 5 years, then you have to schedule it and make sure that in 5 years it's happening again and you didn't lose track on the time. Methods for validation and dissemination, disseminating new versions to all members of the organ, because once you have updated your processes, you want to make sure. Once you have updated your processes, you want to make sure that it is properly voted and properly adopted by all of the bodies of your organization. Now we're going to talk about the strategy. For the strategy, you need to make sure that you have documented your mission, your vision, and your values. We have attached for you a toolkit on how to properly define mission, vision, and values for your organization on the MOOC platform, okay? There are three main levels for strategy. Long-term strategy, mid-term strategy, and short-term strategy. You need to keep track on these three. Of course, today's meeting is not to discover each one of those norms, because it would take us, a very, very long time. However, we can dwell into another workshop on how to think and rethink your strategy, how to define your milestones, and how to co-build or co-conceive your mission, vision, and values for the organization. We can do that on another session. But normally, this is a very large framework of it's not something that we are going to go through in this 1 hour session. But just making sure that you are noting that strategy is a document that you need. Vision, mission, values is something that you need. Excuse me. There are questions that I can see. Do we make our organizational policies public, just like the governance structure? Bukhar, actually, it is recommendable, very, very well recommended, to put your policies, to put them somewhere that where everyone can consult them. It means that you are so transparent within and outside of your organization, and it is one of the requirements that me, for instance, just another NGO. While evaluating if I want to partner with you or not, I will definitely go check it. I'm not giving you any money, yet I want to see if you are transparent with me. So I let you imagine a nonprofit donor, an international donor who wants to give you his money and let you implement your projects. This is one of the requirements in terms of transparency. You don't have to, it's a choice of the board of directors. How do we address conflicting donor requirements in terms of our policies while maintaining our ethics and transparency? I'm not sure I have understood your question, but you don't want to partner with the conflicting donor. Not very sure I have understood. Please make sure that you Bukhar. Okay, please.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Umaima, so far for the wonderful presentation. So the
My
second
pleasure.
part of my question is specifically in terms of finance. So before I work with my organization, I happen to be employed by another organization at a top management level. So we had these donors, two of them. The first donor were very specific in terms of our threshold, specifying some certain amount of funds that if a procurement gets to that level, we must find like three quotes and so on and so forth. While the second donor prefers a higher amount for the same number of quotes. So that was quite conflicting and challenging for us. We did not want to give a different finance policy to two donors, with each one serving their interest and all. We wanted to maintain a very, single finance document, regardless of what the donor wants. So, in as much as we want to make an impact by utilizing both donors' funds, it became quite challenging for us to address that conflict. So that was what I was asking. Is it possible to serve them different policies while maintaining high level of ethics and transparency within the organization? Thank you so much as you answered the question. I appreciate.
Thank you so much, Bukar, for your very, very accurate question. Actually, there is a principle in the finance world in general. It's called le principe de la loi la plus contraignante. Let me try to fix this because I'm thinking in French and talking to you in English. And please don't mind my English. My English is I'm trying my best to meet your standards. So I can see the reaction. When you have to comply, let's say, with two different levels of rules. Let's say partner A wants you to respect a certain framework that is this big, let's say. And partner B wants you to respect a framework that is this bigger, like a bigger framework. Well, you make sure that you go with the most, le plus contraignant. Contraignant in English means that gives you more constraints. You can respect both of them while respecting the most difficult, if I may, the most profound, the most advanced, the most constraining policy. If I have to, let's say, consult, let's say a partner A wants you to respect the following rule. While buying a good for your nonprofit organization, you have to consult at least two parties. Then donor B tells you, if you want to work with me, then you will have to accept the following rule. You have to consult three parties. Then what you're going to do, Bukar, is that you're going to start consulting three parties. And you know what, I don't know if you got my example, but you want to make sure that you are choosing the rule, the most constraining rule that works finally for all of them. This is, intuitively what I would tell you. However, you sometimes can decide to just let go a partner amongst another partner for a strategic decision that you only cannot take. However, as a governance body, like let's say board of directors, can decide together. And you're like, hey guys, there's this situation. I have to I have to abide by the rules of partner A. I have to abide by the rules of partner B. You either find an intelligent / smart way of managing both while being ethical, compliant, and transparent. You have to. If you find yourself obliged by abiding by the rules of one of them, crossing the red line and not being compliant anymore, then my advice for you is to let down this partner. This is what we usually do. But I'm very happy to exchange it on this. My very. You're very welcome, Bukhar. I hope I answered your question. And again, I'm sorry, I'm in a cafe before my third meeting. That's why you can hear some of the noises. Okay, the second part of this training session today is optimizing the management and execution of your activities. I'm gonna try to go as fast as possible, okay? Because I still have only 10 minutes before opening up to the questions. So um, what you want to do, managing your organization and managing the resources of your organization, of course, you have to have, um, in terms of human resource management, you have to be compliant with the labor laws within your country. Okay, this is obvious, but we just want to make sure that it's checked. You have to make sure that you are always abiding by and compliant with the labor law while managing your human resources. Second of all, you want to respect, you want to make sure that you are aligning with the HR plan of your organizational strategy. Remember when we talked about mission, vision, values, and then strategy, long term, mid-term, short term? Then the long term, after you design your strategy and your strategic framework, what we usually do, this is a good practice from Morocco, from Jadar. You don't have to do it, but it's a good practice to note. You could choose to adopt it. What we do is we do the operational translation. We call it or a declination, the operational declination, and then which means how are you going to organize your activities, which program is going to be implemented to which target group, what are the key objectives, the objective key results, what are the KPIs, etc. All of this you can put together, and then the second level. I'm sorry, I'm lost. I got lost. And then you have the organizational translation. You have the operational translation of your strategy or declination of your strategy. Then you have the organizational declination of your strategy. You say, okay, this is my strategy. In terms of operations, in order to reach this goal within this year, to serve this category group, then this is what I'm going to implement. This program for the NGOs, this program for the youth, this program with the public policymakers, this program, whatever. This is your operational declination. Then you have the organizational declination, which means, or translation, which means, if I want to do this and reach and by this implementing my strategy, then I need this HR plan. I need this and this and this number of full-time employees. I need this and this and this and let's say number of volunteers. I need this. And I'm going to have, let's say, operational managers or directors, and then I'm going to have a support function, which is administrative and financial department. I want to have a partnership department, or I want to have a development department. Do I want to put my communication department within my partnership department? All of this organization that translates the operational declination that comes from strategy. This is what brings you, what allows you to get an HR plan. So your HR plan is how you want to organize all of your human resources, including full-time salary, full-time team members, governing bodies from your board, and your volunteers. These human resources need to be organized in a certain manner, and this manner is documented within what we call HR plan. So you need to have it as a declination. So you want how to manage your human resources for your NGO. You need to be abiding by the labor laws of your country, of course, normal. Then you want to have an HR plan that translates your strategy. Then you want to make sure that you have HR policies and procedures, and the principles that you rely your HR procedures and policies are regular updates, easy interpretation. You don't have to, it's very clear. It's not approximative, it's very, very clear and direct forward. Multi-channel availability, digital, you have a digital version, you have a paper version, etc. Clarity and simplicity. And please don't hesitate to use the content that we have on the MOOC platform. I can see a couple of messages on the MOOC platform. I will make sure that my team is addressing this. Then human resource policies and procedures need to include recruitment and onboarding policies. When you recruit a new team member, what do you do? What step by step? What do you give him? How do you sign the contract? Whatever. All of the requirements, all of the things that you need to make sure of need to be written within this recruitment and onboarding policies. Working conditions and professional development. Compensation and benefits policy, code of conduct and professional ethics, complaints and let's say compliance, complaints and grievance procedures. If someone wants to complain, where do they complain? And they have to have the ability to complain. Let's say I'm the chief executive officer of Jadara. Yeah, the beat. Yeah, I am. Let's say I am the chief executive officer of Jadara, but I need to make sure that my human resources, either direct or indirect, let's say my colleagues with whom we have a labor work contract, and the volunteers who can come and go and who don't have like a formal obligation to attend, etc., etc. Then all of these bodies, all of these human resources have to have the ability to complain against me to a neutral body. I have to make sure that, excuse me, kindly assist with the presentation if possible. Tapiwaku Kombe. Sorry, I didn't get you.
These two things, this one and that one, which will be removed, I wanted them to be here. If they can close this place.
Please send us an email.
Are you managing to do something here? Are you managing to do something here? This is space.
In this training session? Excuse me, Tapiwa,
and then also, there is to cover it from the water. I think we need to make it like this one.
I think they should mute him because he doesn't know that.
Can somebody please mute him?
Unfortunately,
Someone should mute him.
I don't have the access. Mohammed or any assistant, program assistant, can you please mute?
Yeah, I know. I really understand. Despite of the carpet, I think we need to make at least one. Yeah, like this.
I cannot mute him. I don't have this ability. Give me a minute. I'm just going to write to Mohammed.
The carpet, I think it alone it cannot cover all this.
Oh my God. I have so few. I don't have a lot of time.
Okay, now let me find.
They
need one.
I'm just writing down to my colleague to make sure that someone is muting him. Unfortunately, I have to. Okay, Mukambe, kindly assist with the presentation if possible. I'm not sure if I have understood you, Mukambe Tapiwa, if you don't mind explaining.
Yeah. Hold this one and add the cement here.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So it can,
Okay. I would like to appreciate the presentation. It's well pegged and informative. So I was asking if it is possible that I can get a copy through the email.
Because this place also I want to use it in the future because I think here. Like you want to put through, Yes. Yeah, this place also I want to put a pool. So that's why if it has been removed from that place, I think it would be better if they can.
Oh my God.
Yes. Put one here. So that it can send a message. Prevent people when suppose that we have another table pool here and they are playing here. This can prevent them from, and also from the KCC or it's called what? Those people who, yes, they will come and ask you about the protection of the people if you have put any measures.
I'm writing. I'm writing to the admin who is Muhammad.
Do you think yeah that will work well? Because really,
actually, guys,
yes, this one can remain.
I understand that we are mobilizing
will not
you
prevent
and
them.
that we are taking like two
No,
sessions of your time, but this is what
I
is
am
happening
asking
now
for the
is a
importance
very
of this.
big
Yeah, Eric,
disrespect of the effort that
which
is
one?
invested. I will make sure that the organization of Bahit is being properly addressed. I cannot, yeah, this is not, this is unacceptable, and I cannot let this organization do this, as I am understanding that he is participating in the meeting, but doing something else. And it has disturbed our session. We still have 15 minutes. I have very well noted your request of receiving the presentation. I will make sure that everyone here receives the presentation. And unfortunately, I will have to go very briefly on the rest of the content, as you do have this on a static way on the platform MOOC, on the MOOC platform. So what we have to note is that for your NGO to be compliant and meeting the international standards, one, you want to lay the solid foundations. How you want to lay your solid foundations? By defining your bodies of governance, by defining clearly your strategy. Also, you want to optimize the management and the execution of your activities. How you can do that? You have to do it by managing correctly and optimizing your resources. So your human resources, including full-time staff and volunteers. You have to make sure that your organization has resource management plan, like I'm talking about the inventory in general. And you want to make sure that your finances, that including your resource management plan, you want to make sure that your NGO has an optimization, a financial plan, and policies and procedures. One, roles and responsibilities, where you clearly define the duties of each one of the stakeholders involved within the financial management. And two, the financial management procedures, including the cash management, the income and expenses management, and the budget or the master budget preparation and monitoring. These are the three levels of monitoring the finances of your organization. Of course, to make sure that you are financially compliant, one, you want to make sure that you are compliant with the financial requirements of your country. You want to do regularly the reconciliation. The reconciliation in French means le rapprochement, which reconciliates the financial budgeting in general with the financial situation with the banking situation, making sure that there is that the funding is the fundings are balanced, and there is no gap in your finances, that you have documented within your financial monitoring, and the real balance, funding or finance balance within your bank. Then you do have your external financing reporting that you have to address to your donors, and proof of tax payment. So you are compliant with your taxing direction or department or administration within your country. And then you have a funding portfolio document that documents all of the funding or opportunities that you have been submitting to, that you have been writing proposals for, etc. In terms of assets management, you want to manage and optimize the resources of your organization by identifying the identification and registration of all of your assets, use and maintenance, and tracking the responsibilities alongside with the resource optimization. There is an annual step to it, which is the annual inventories. And then there is the very frequent inventories that you wanna abide by. Then you have the policies on the management of your resources and assets. Obviously, you have your inventory management and updates. In order for your risk management policy, you want to make sure that you have a moment after each project, each event, each activity, where you reflect. In Jadara, we call it le REX. REX, return over experience, return on experience, or return over experience. I can see a question. Some of the structures that have been advised as to be implemented in future, if and when resources are available, because sometimes we may rely mainly on volunteers, services, and when next to zero budget strategies in the scenario that we have no funds available to finance proposed budget. Is not to highlight some of the structures that have been advised. What do you mean, Mukombe? What do you mean advised? I can understand that some organizations rely on the volunteers and they don't have a very important, let's say, budget to hire full-time staff. But I'm not sure I've well understood. Tapiwa Mukombe, if you can develop, please unmute your mic.
Hi.
Hi.
I was saying, I've seen the proposed policies and structures which must be in place for a donor.
Yeah, go on. Yeah,
to come in and assist, or to see your organization as a structured entity. But I'm saying some of the policies, like for employees, HR policies and other things, cannot be practical at a certain point where you don't have enough resources, maybe to employ maybe 5 or 6 people who are professionals, but you'll be relying on people who are doing voluntary or pro bono within your organization due to your strategy where you have no funds, but you are willing to keep implementing your vision. But you can actually, is it possible that we can actually cite that this can be implemented in future when the resources are available? That's what I was asking. I don't know if you get my question.
I get you. I get you, Mukombe. I thank you so much for your question. Actually, I want you to believe me when I tell you that there are so many organizations that started only with volunteers and who developed to have many assets, who have full-time employees, who have an important cost share for the operations, who have master budgets, who have budgets and finances that come into the organization. So what you want to do, you just want to make sure, of course, you're not going to use those requirements for 100% volunteering based NGO, of course. But you want to make sure, actually, that you are creating a solid foundation in terms of transparency to attract the donors. If I'm a donor, of course, I might not give you a $1 million funding opportunity because you don't have a return over experience. I'm not sure if you are going to know how to manage the finances or not, but I can give you a very small grant to test you. I can do that if you are only based on volunteers. But the thing is, you build on smaller experience to create bigger experiences. You build on smaller projects to create bigger projects. And from an experience to an experience, you want to make sure that one, you are reflecting on that's why we were talking about the lessons learned document, and you want to make sure that you are managing properly the smallest fundings in order to be able to scale up your activities. So I'm not sure if I have well answered your question, but the thing is, only relying on volunteers today doesn't mean that tomorrow you cannot be well structured. You just make sure that the compliance, ethics, and regulations are respected. You have to have at least this solid infrastructure. Without this, no one will want to invest in your projects. But you can at least ensure this, and I'm sure that the very first grant is going to be very, very small grant, just to try, and we'll see. Even with volunteers, probably you can hire a half-time or part-time, staff member. I hope I answered part of your question. Then Budani. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Bulayani is a brief question. As an NGO dependent on grants, how can one bridge the gap in financials to prevent breaks in the organization financial statements? One, you have to make sure that you do have a master budget. And the master budget, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm almost sure. I'm not certain, but I'm almost sure that within your countries, you can count, you can document and count la valorisation. Let me develop that. One, you have to forecast all of your expenses. We're agreeing on this, even if you are 100% relying on grants. Two, you want to make sure that you are using all of the available resources that you can value, to which you can give value. For instance, you have volunteers as Mukambe. If you do have volunteers, then make sure you are documenting how many hours of volunteering they're giving, how many days of volunteering they're giving, and try to give to this let's say a value, because of course today you only rely on volunteers, but this timing, the ability of you mobilizing and interesting your community in bringing your community to work with you within your project is also something that you can rely on. In Jadara Foundation, for instance, every year we have almost 4 million dirhams valued workforce of volunteers. And this is an effort of mobilizing our community that we close the gaps, as you're asking, Budani. We are closing the gaps on our master budget using this. So we, of course, so the thing is, make sure that you are, la valorisation, you are giving the right value to all of the resources that you are mobilizing. And the second thing is make sure that you are, the idea is make sure, please, that you are diversifying the sources of your finances. If you only rely on grants, it's a little bit threatening for the health, the financial health of your organization. You want to make sure that you have an income generating activity, you have grants from international donors, then you have grants from local donors, then you have, you are doing some crowdfunding, then you are doing, SMSing. You have to make sure that you are diversifying the sources of your income to make sure that your organization has a healthy financing to be able to sustain your activities. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid that we will have to close this meeting here. However, I will make sure, one, that my teams are sending you the presentation, and two, make sure that all the little problems that you have on the MOOC platform are resolved very, very quickly. Please make sure to address to us through an structured email where you have all of your questions. Each organization can have a bunch of questions. Please just make sure that it is well written, and I will make sure that we are going to answer you. Before leaving, it will be my honor to have a group picture with you. So I will ask you to please turn on your cameras and give me a beautiful smile.
This one's listening full name.
Mukambe, I can see you. Hi.
This one's listening full name.
And you can, I can't hear you. Hello, beautiful Sadie.
I said, please, what is your LinkedIn full name?
My LinkedIn full name, Umayma Mhijer. Let me write you here on the Umayma Mhijer. Okay, guys, don't be shy. We're only 4 people with our cameras. We just want to take a group picture. Say.
Hi. It's been a very interesting and informative session that we've had so far. And this one is particularly very in depth. I really love how you've broken down what our framework is supposed to look like. And I mean, it's a lot to take in. That's why I'm really hoping that we can get the slides from this presentation so we're able to break it down into smaller modules and ensure that we implement it. It's very I've never been exposed to this amount of information for our
Yeah.
nonprofits. Thank you so much. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
I'm very happy saying that this has been helpful, but I'm
Has
100% aware that sometimes it can be overwhelming.
yes.
Hello, Katso.
Hello,
Hi,
Lisa.
ma'am.
Nice to see you.
Hi, Sam.
Hi.
Nice to see you all.
Thank you.
Hi.
Quick question, if I can squeeze it in. Um, is what you're covering going to be important for either pitching or us putting together our proposals for Morocco? Because I'm quite worried that we miss out on some of the important information that would be resourceful to us at that time. And if possible, can this be workshopped in Morocco?
No, workshops, unfortunately, no. We have a beautiful program for you guys, but I literally don't think you will have the time to breathe. But you do have beautiful workshops that are planned for you, but not delivering this workshop. I commit, if that's the will of you guys, to reschedule a session to complete the training program with you. We'll be very happy to do that. However, as I told you, as we already told you during the webinar and our exchanges, it's up to you and up to your organization and how mature is your organization and how old is your organization. And how accurate is your project. So no, if you don't follow step by step, no. It's there are so many things coming in together. No financing is guaranteed for no organization, including ourselves. But what we are making sure of is you are meeting the international donors. And if you don't have a financing this year, you'll make sure that you are upgrading and at least looking what the others are doing. Okay, I love the hair, by the way. Okay, I'll make sure that everyone, you're welcome. Please, guys, I'm missing 1, 2, 3. I just need three people to activate their cameras to get a beautiful screenshot and publish it on our social media. And I'll tell you when to smile. Come on.
I've been smiling all the time.
We've been starting follow along.
My cheeks outside.
And you can activate your camera.
Sorry, I'm not in a good place. I'm outside, so I may not be able to do that. Please, thank you.
You will pay a coffee when you come to Morocco.
No problem.
Yeah, just kidding. Yeah, let's go. Let us. Okay, let's give a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful smile.
But don't be afraid to use public.
Okay, let me do.
There are trains.
Some of us are laughing, not smiling.
Yet.
So yeah, with us.
Not yet. Let me count. 3, 2.
We chose to take tours that would get.
Sorry. 3 again. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Beautiful. Done. Thank you so much, guys.
it is good that our
Thank you
voices
so
of
much, guys.
the laugh is
Wonderful.
not audible. So thank you very much, Mrs. Umaima, for the
Thank
wonderful
you. Thank you,
My
presentation.
Mrs.
very
Can't wait to
pleasure.
Umaima.
meet you
Sincerely
all.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
I have sent you my LinkedIn, sending you LinkedIn connection.
Beautiful. I'll make sure to answer it today.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
Thank
everyone.
you.
And I'm sorry for the inconvenience with the coffee, the cafe where I am, etc. But please just note that if you go back to the platform and go through this with in a focused, calm area, I'm sure you will get you'll have the opportunity to go through all the standards. There is no way you will miss one. You just need to be focused. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All
Thank you
right.
so
Thank
much,
you.
everyone. I
Bye.
can't wait to meet you
Bye.
guys. Bye bye.
Same here.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.
Bye.